Once upon a time, in a village deep in the forest, there lived a little girl named Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother asked her to take a basket of goodies to her sick grandmother who lived on the other side of the forest. Little Red Riding Hood set off on her journey, excited to visit her grandmother. She walked through the forest, admiring the trees and the birds. She felt happy and carefree, enjoying the beauty of nature. However, the forest was not always a safe place. There were wild animals and dangerous creatures lurking about. Little Red Riding Hood had to be careful and aware of her surroundings. As she walked, she heard rustling in the bushes. She stopped and listened, but she couldn't see anything. She felt a shiver down her spine, and she knew that she should be on her guard. She walked a little faster, looking around nervously. She saw a shadow moving in the distance, and her heart started to beat faster. She tried to keep calm and keep walking, but she felt scared and vulnerable. Suddenly, a wolf appeared out of nowhere. He was big and fierce, with sharp teeth and glowing eyes. Little Red Riding Hood froze in fear, not knowing what to do. The wolf growled and advanced towards her, his jaws open wide. Little Red Riding Hood knew that she had to act fast. She picked up a stick and held it out in front of her, hoping to scare the wolf away. The wolf paused for a moment, looking at her with curiosity. He then lunged forward, trying to grab the stick with his teeth. Little Red Riding Hood pulled back, and the wolf missed. She ran as fast as she could, not looking back. She knew that the wolf was chasing her, but she didn't dare to stop. She had to find a way to escape and get to her grandmother's house. She ran and ran, her heart pounding in her chest. She could hear the wolf's footsteps behind her, getting closer and closer. She felt a sense of panic and despair, but she didn't give up. Finally, she saw her grandmother's house in the distance. She ran towards it, hoping that she would be safe there. She banged on the door, and her grandmother opened it, surprised to see her. Little Red Riding Hood was out of breath, and she could barely speak. She told her grandmother about the wolf and how he had chased her through the forest. Her grandmother listened with concern, and she knew that they had to be careful. They locked the door and closed the windows, hoping to keep the wolf out. They stayed inside for a while, waiting and listening for any signs of danger. They were afraid, but they knew that they had each other. Eventually, the wolf gave up and went away. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother were safe, but they knew that they had to be careful in the future. They had learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of the forest and the importance of being aware of one's surroundings. And so, Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother lived happily ever after, knowing that they had survived a dangerous encounter and had learned to be strong and brave.